Step into the world of the Superpro podcast, where we lay out the blueprints of home service excellence. Join us as we break down the wins and struggles of pros who are at the top of their game. Put their wisdom into practice as you build your company's success. Co-founder Mai Hooper shares how NTX Plumbing started as a team of one in 2010 and has gradually grown. Mai chose Housecall Pro to streamline processes, take advantage of checklists, and for WiseTack, a product within Housecall Pro that helps her offer financing as an option for her customers. She emphasizes the importance of building a strong culture and supportive team environment and hits on what it's like serving in a male-dominated industry. Mai also expressed her gratitude for the support of the Lady Pros community. Let's dive into today's episode and uncover the secrets to success in the home service industry.
Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of the Superpro podcast. We're the heartbeat of home service excellence. I am Roland Leitenberg, your host, your co-founder of Housecall Pro, and I'm an advocate for all hardworking pros who make our homes better, safer, more comfortable. With Housecall Pro, I've had the privilege of helping thousands and thousands of home service professionals. And with that, we're always working to empower them to achieve more, stress less, and redefine success in our industry. Today, I've got a very special guest. This is Mai Hooper. She's the mastermind behind NTX Plumbing, based out of Richardson, Texas. And her company is currently on track they're targeting right above $2 million in 2024. They have 7 employees with 4 trucks out on the road. We're going to be doing a little bit of a deep dive into her world of plumbing and uncovering some of her secrets to success. Welcome, and thanks for coming on the show, Mai.
All right. Woo woo. I am super excited to be here. So thanks, Roland.
Nice. Well, tell me a little bit about when did you start, your company, and what was kind of the inception point?
Okay. So the company was started in 2010.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like what has transpired was my husband actually worked for other companies and they just didn't really have a lot of room for growth and opportunities or advancement. And it was one of those things where he was like, you know what? I can do this. I can make it work. And he went out, got his master license and started out. And he was a one-man team for the first 5 years. And
Wow.
It wasn't till like about 2011 or 2012, we bought like our first vehicle. And then 2013, he hired his first team member. And then from then on, we just started adding and then building out the operations part of it.
Oh, that's great. You've been at it for a little bit, but that first little part is always the hardest one to get started. And once you kind of get on a roll, you get to where you are now, which is definitely like a very successful company. What, when you're taking a look kind of back, what was the point in time when you're like, okay, I need to really get serious here to incorporate something in my business to help on the organization side, maybe the customer communication side of things, invoicing? Like, what was that moment? Was it when, you guys hired your first employee, or where did that happen? Or is it from the gate, out of the gate?
I'm going to be upfront. My background is from working in different tech companies. And so with that being said, I had this just very advanced experience, knowledge of website marketing, platform, CRM system and whatnot. And I did not join NTX Plumbing until about 10 years ago. So when I joined, I knew right then and there, we needed to be able to digitize customer service communications. We needed to be able to digitize invoicing, dispatching. And so when I joined, that was when I realized in order to be able to build that operation, the first thing we needed to do was implement some sort of CRM system. And at that time, Housecall Pro was not around yet. And
That's right.
So we started out with like a lot of like smaller companies that you guys might have heard of, Kickserve, Help Desk, those itty bitty guys, right? And I will have to say that one of the best decisions I made as a co-founder for NTX Plumbing was switching over to the Housecall Pro platform side of it. I'm not going to lie, just because I'm on this podcast, right? Everybody's going to be like, oh, she's on the bandwagon. She's drinking the Kool-Aid. No, like I really like Housecall Pro and the features and functionality, the community itself. And that's one of the reasons why we're such big believers in Housecall Pro.
Oh, that's really great to hear. It's definitely a big aid being able to talk to other folks that are also in the trades if you're struggling or if you're looking for tips on how to grow. You seem really resourceful just yourself. And I've definitely seen you in our Lady Pro communities, our Super Pro communities, and our normal Super Pro or our normal Housecall Pro community too. Taking advantage of all of that. Are there any tips that, you'd go back to kind of younger Mai, maybe 8 years ago Mai, or maybe 7 years ago Mai, where you're like, okay, I wish I would have taken advantage of this. Not necessarily Housecall Pro, but just from like a business standpoint, what was something that you're like, oh, we should have just done this hiring thing sooner, or any kind of tips you can kind of give our pros that are listening today?
One of the things I wish we had done is, I'm going to be honest, is we should have done a better job of planning for the future and
Mm-hmm.
discussing about exit strategies for the business. And I don't mean necessarily like selling or anything, but just knowing where are you going. And that's where I kind of missed the mark. Like operational and everything was great.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of times we focus so much on the sales projection that we weren't really focusing on the vision, the growth, and what does the future of NTX Plumbing look like. And so there was a lot of different things that I implemented a lot later on. And I wish I did it from the beginning. And culture was one of them. That is
Mm.
something that we truly missed the mark as a small business and a small company, because we're so focused on trying to make money, trying to hire people, but we really forgot to really build that culture environment for the team and hang on to them a lot longer.
That's really, I mean, culture is really key. What are some ways that you've found are helpful for bringing culture and establishing culture in your company? What are things that you're doing now, maybe that you weren't doing before, like specific like events or
So
something, or like what like real good nuggets do you have here?
Man, it's so crazy just how traditional the plumbing industry is. One of the things that I do now is we have team huddles, but 8 years ago, that was like something where like the team were like, what? Team huddles? What? What does that mean? Like, why are we just standing around? Like they felt like it was such a waste of time. They didn't really understand or couldn't really quite grasp the concept that it was meant to have camaraderie between the different teams and whatnot. Other things that we do in our culture is we celebrate their birthdays, their
Mm.
anniversary. We have team breakfast. I go to lunch with them. I show up to the job site and I will bring them sodas, Gatorades, snacks. And for the plumbing industry, that's very unheard of. One, I'm a woman, right? And
Mhm.
then two, it's like I'm not a plumber by any means. And then three, the caring, the affectionate, me really putting them ahead of me, that's also different as well for them. Doing what
Yeah.
I can to try to break that mold.
Yeah, I mean, all of those things that you just dropped are great. Obviously, the team huddle, those team lunches or dinners or food events, celebrating their birthdays, selling work anniversaries. I guess you could celebrate even their own, like, I don't know, spouse anniversaries. You can do all
Yeah.
kinds of fun stuff
Oh
there.
yeah, like
Yeah.
we did like baby showers. We
Ah.
pulled in together, like like in the larger companies. I remember like it was something like you don't discuss. It was so weird, and I was like, you know what? This is our company, our business, our culture. And because we're so small, you get to know these people at a personal level. And I'm like,
Mhm.
you know what? Ixnay, we are going to celebrate you, your family. Like why not, right? These
Yeah.
people like that work for us, they're pouring their hearts and dedication out to us. So yeah, when they got their plumbing license, we celebrated with them.
Oh, that's
Okay.
great. Yep.
And like two of my team members, when they got their plumbing license last year, this is something we don't talk about, but I'm going to share it with you guys. We went to happy hour rolling. We went to the bar, bought some tequila bottles, shot up tequilas, had fun with them. And you know what? We got drunk with them. And they were
Yep.
like, oh my gosh, this is so amazing to have our bosses like shoot tequila with us, right? Just having a good time and celebrate them and be real. So I'm like, that's how we're trying to break that mold right there for the plumbing industry.
Yeah, I love that last little snippet. For those of you that didn't catch the golden nugget, is just like be real. And if you
Mhm.
can be real people with your employees, not just as employees, not just as like a boss kind
Yeah.
of mentality, and like, a driver is like always do this, or someone that's always got the stick. No, like celebrating those things are huge. One thing you brought up is the team huddles. What do you say in the team huddles, and how did you get it started? How do you get everybody to not be awkward in the team huddles? And like, who says what, and how does it work? Like, walk me through a team huddle.
So one thing I learned is that when you have a team huddle, and if you're at the beginning stages, you do want to go in with a format. You have to explain to your team, and I'll give you an example. When we first started it, I said, look, we're going to gather for 30 minutes, and I'm going to go around and I'm going to ask you guys to share about what are some issues that you were facing, or what did you do out in the field that worked really well and you want to share with everybody else. So that way it will help us to be better at what we do. And you always have to have one person that lead the team huddle. If you're walking in and you just expect people to start talking, it's not going to work. And
Mm-hmm.
yes, you do have to put them on the spotlight. Is it going to make them uncomfortable? Yes. But over time, what's going to happen is they will get acclimated to the new environment. And so, I'll open up and, we'll say a quick little prayer. I'm going to be honest. We pray before each and every team huddles. And
Mm-hmm.
so, with that being said, people love it. They enjoy it. It just brings this very humbling moment to them. And I'll go around, I'll be like, Roland, hey, what are some issues? Are you struggling? Or what did you do yesterday on your job that you, repaired this sewer line? Can you share it? And then you, Roland, you'd be like, man, I really don't want to talk. And I'm like, hey, it's okay, friend. I'm like, look, why don't you just share about what went well for you? And so
Mm-hmm.
that right there is an example where you're not only coaching your team member to get acclimated to the idea of a team huddle, but getting them to open up as well. And then I don't really allow them to drill too long, because you do have some people that
That will
will
talk.
overtake. Yeah. And I'm like,
Yeah.
eh,
Yeah.
you know, but it's okay, and they get it. 30 minutes. And I like to use the analogy of football, right? You
Mm-hmm.
see it all the time, right? You see the coach, the quarterback, all of their teammates, they're all rallying around. And that is what I use to give them. I said, we're like a football team. The coach, the quarterback, we just want to really pump you guys up, and we want to make this as transparent as much as possible, because I
Yeah.
am here to help you guys, and I want you guys to be able to help our customers. Um, Zig Ziglar said it best, Roland. You build the people build the business. And it's a
Mm-hmm.
nice little evolution that just keeps on repeating itself.
I love it. And I also think sometimes, if you're struggling with getting your folks to say something that they struggled with, you can always start with saying something that you struggled with. And so
Yes.
often as a leader, it's really easy to, ask other people, what are you struggling with? How can I help you? But you can also do the trick in reverse. Or it's not a trick. You just say like, hey, here's some things that I've been struggling with. I don't
Mhm.
know. And that'll allow others to kind of open up a little bit too. So if you can lead by example too, that'll help in those team huddles. And are you doing these team huddles every single morning before the trucks roll out, or are you doing these once a week? Like, what's kind of your frequency?
It's actually weekly. Every
Mm-hmm.
day is just too challenging, just because the team, when they get dispatched, they're dispatched from home. And
Oh,
so
okay.
once a week is much more, I would say, attainable as like a company like weekly goal. And then it
Yep.
also gives the team something to look forward to. Also, I believe the day of the week matters. We used to do team huddles on Fridays, but
Mm-hmm.
what was happening is the team would go in and they would forget about what we discussed. And I'm like, but wait a minute, we just had a team huddle on Friday. How could you easily forget? And then I shifted it to midweek, like Wednesday. And that actually worked out a lot better,
Mm-hmm.
because things that we would discuss about on Wednesday, I would still see the team Thursday or Friday, be like, hey, don't you remember? They were like, yeah, that's right. We discussed about it.
I
So
love it. Yeah.
yeah, like strategy is very important. Um, you know, Roland, you mentioned like being able to share as a leader, like what do we struggle about in the
Mm-hmm.
team huddle? You're right. That is a great way to open up the conversation. So one of the things that I would share with the team is, hey, I'm not a licensed plumber, but by you sharing with me what you struggle with, that helps me here in the office and operational side to better understand what it is that you're needing, lacking, or missing. So then that way I can figure out how to plug in those gaps and holes for you.
I like that. Yeah. And I think there's a lot of businesses out here too, where, the folks that are running operations and working in the office, might not have ever been out on the field or aren't licensed in whatever the trade it is themselves. And I think having that really good trade-off between the folks that are kind of running the ops in the background and the folks that are running the jobs out in the field really have that close bond. Because I think the better that can become, the better your overall business can be and the more efficient it can be. So I really like that tip for sure.
Yeah, and there's also something I wanted to add is like my husband was sharing with me that the different plumbing companies when he was working at, they had meetings, not team huddles, and these meetings were very negative, super like just very like you walk away and you feel like you need a shower, and it was mainly their managers going in and telling them what a piece of beep they are,
Yeah.
right? Or hey, you didn't meet your sales goal, or you're just crap, right? And I'm like, wow,
Mhm.
that's terrible. Like constantly dogging them out, tearing them down. And I'm like, that's awful. That's no way to treat a human being. And plumbers should not be treated like that. They are human beings. They are respected. They are licensed and professional individuals. And I was like, we can be the one to break the mold. We can be the ones to break the cycle. Let's build these men up. They are the men of our future and of the trade services. So,
Yeah. I love the positive mindset you have there too. And I think if you make this something people look forward to coming to, you're going to
mhm.
have a lot better results and a lot better just remembering of what was discussed, openness to help, openness to discuss your failures. Because I think failure is only a failure if you're not learning. And so
Yeah,
if you can turn each failure into a learning moment, you can do it publicly, kind of
yes.
within your team huddle, then everybody's learning from everybody else's mistakes. And I think that's the best way to level up your team. And there's no silver bullet to anything, but I think this is a really good reason why you guys have been able to become so successful, which is a really, really great tip. One thing you were telling me before, we were just starting the podcast here. I always like to kind of like what are like fun facts, but what's something that somebody would not know about you, and then maybe give some context around your size, and then this Grom thing, because this is the first time I've heard of it, and I think it's super fun to share.
Okay. So the context is my husband likes to call me spicy sriracha rooster. All right. And the reason being is I am only 4'10", ladies and gentlemen. 4'10". I didn't even make it to the 5 foot markers. And with that being said, I ride a motorcycle. And
Hmm.
it's not your granny's motorcycle. We're talking about street bike here. All right. So my first street bike was a Ninja 250 Kawasaki. I sure
Ooh,
did. Yeah. See,
that's
even you know
fast.
what it is, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
ride motorcycles, but I know those ones are fast.
Yeah, they're super fast. And I'm going to be real. I was 24, 25 at the time, just got through my breakup. Hey, this is a therapy session with Roland here, 101.
Got a motorcycle.
Right? I went and I freaking got a motorcycle and I put myself through motorcycle classes and I rode it. A lot of people like to assume that I am the passenger on my husband's motorcycle. No, I ride my own motorcycle. With that being said, yes, I've gotten pulled over a couple of times, but luckily, use my sweet old Texas gal charms.
Yeah. You're
Didn't
like,
get the
hey,
speeding tickets.
yeah. And so now you've got a Honda Grom. I didn't know what it was. I had to Google it. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, that thing. I mean, I would love to see that out on the road
Oh
back
my
where I live.
gosh.
It's cool.
It's so much fun. My husband's like, you got to learn how to pop a wheelie. I was like, you're light enough because I'm only 100 pounds. And so he was like, you got to. And I've tried a couple times, but I would rather just ride around really fast. I'm not all about doing tricks, but it's a lot of fun. I ride and it's the craziest thing because when I do ride, people like to slow down, look at me, take pictures because they can't believe it's a girl on a motorcycle.
I think this is like a perfect, like, I don't know, just I feel like women just in the trades typically will have a harder time because it's very male dominated, and especially
Mhm.
in your trade, which is like plumbing. And
Yes.
so, you obviously have this spice to you, this self confidence. What are some tips maybe you can give to some other lady pros that might be listening to the podcast right now that maybe either feel like they're struggling, or how can they kind of get that energy to put out there to be able to, really do your job.
Right. I would say when you walk into your room, believe in your worth,
Mm,
believe in your value, believe in your intelligence, right? Believe in your knowledge. You're here because you want to be here, and you're also here because you know you can do it. And don't let others take that away from you. And so, with that being said, like with it being such a male dominated industry, I'll never forget. I was on the phone with a customer, and the customer said, I want to talk to your husband because I know he's the master plumber. And I'm like,
mm,
what? Okay. You know,
mm.
I
So how
was
did
like,
you handle that? What happened? Like,
right?
what was next? What happened next?
Oh my gosh. And so in my mind, I wanted to throw darts, guns, and knives at him, right? In my mind.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm like, I know he did not just say that. That's me. Like, I know he did it. But collectively on the outside, I was very professional. And I
Mm-hmm.
said, sir, I am the co-founder of NTX Plumbing. I know what I'm talking about. I'm actually very educated and I'm very certified. So if you want to go ahead and ask the questions, so go for it. And so he asked the question, I answered it, and he was just blown away. And it's one of
Mm-hmm.
those things where, like, moments like that, don't let it deter you from like pushing through the situation. In the past, I will admit, I was like, oh, okay, let me get my husband and he'll call you back. It was one
Mm-hmm.
of those things. But as I learned over time, I'm like, you know what? I know what I'm talking about, right? I can tell
Mm-hmm.
you how to install a tankless water heater, Roland, even though I've never done one before, but I can coach you through over the phone just fine. So, and
I
that's what
like
it,
it. Yeah,
yeah.
and I think the team huddles almost goes back to it where like you're learning, like where you said is like a lot of it's a time and a space for you to be able to understand what is even going on, and you can learn through osmosis. And I
Yes.
think then you match that with like your assertiveness and also just being confident to then
Mhm.
approach that problem and turn that whole situation around. And I think what you said, which is sometimes don't necessarily like react or take a step back and go back to, oh yeah, let me get my husband maybe on the phone. Just be like, no, sir, I can solve your issue. Let me talk to you, ask me your question, and I'm going to walk you through it. And I'm plenty certified, and I've got all the experience in the world. I think that's really some good solid tips for others to kind of take in.
Yeah, and it's okay. Like, I'm very transparent with customers, clients. I will tell them, like, look, if I don't know the answer, then I would be more than happy to, find the different resources to be able to get you the answer that you need. Whether or not, if,
Mm-hmm.
if, if it's me following up with you or someone who is certified and licensed to follow up with you. And so that also helped to
Yeah.
set the stage and expectations as well.
Yeah, that's a great like piece just to insert into any script. If you're talking to a customer, especially ones that are pushing the boundaries a little bit and not being the nicest, because I know you definitely get those phone calls from time to time, and those customers that maybe sometimes you got to fire and not work with sometimes too.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm sure those exist. Well,
Right.
as we're kind of doing some podcast prep, I know that I asked you just some questions a little bit around what are some underrated features inside of Housecall Pro, because I like these ones. The ones that you gave me, I'm like, oh, not enough people talk about this. But I think as you're building your company, you need to make sure people are following, procedures and doing the tasks that you set forth. So, what is the one feature? Maybe this is a feature you wish you started using sooner, or just one that you think all people should be using.
Checklists, checklists and jobs and whatnot. I believe like a lot of brand new Housecall Pro users, when they're jumping on and they're trying to figure things out, I believe that checklists should be implemented early on to not
Mhm.
only help you, but to help your team as well. And you might ask me why. It's because what's happening is with checklists, it's a great add on feature where, like, as your team and you're onboarding someone, you can build that checklist out. So then that way, as your team are going through the jobs, it's already built into the job and they can see what needs to be run through, what questions to ask, make sure that they do not forget. So like
Hmm.
for us, when we're doing like a gas job and you're replacing a tankless water heater, homes here in Dallas, 99% of the time, people have gas. And so I want to make sure that my team remember to turn back on the hot water, to turn back on the gas, so you don't leave the customer without heat or water. And so that's why I feel like checklists are very valuable and can be used in so many different aspects as well.
I like that. Yeah, I feel like checklists are a blank slate. So there's so much you
Mhm.
can do with them, which sometimes makes it a little overwhelming to start with
Yeah.
because you kind of start with not very much. And then all of a sudden, you got to go build something out. So what, like, how did you think about that? Or like, how did you start?
Okay. So there's two different perspectives when I approach the company. One perspective is I think about what does the plumbing team need, right?
Hmm.
And then I think about job wise, how can I make that more efficient for them? And so then once I think about the jobs, I think like, okay, you show it to replace a tankless water heater. There's about 5 things that you have to run through. So that's the plumbing team side of it. So I start there, right? I
Hmm.
think about if you have to dial back, you're like, well, what jobs, how do I know which jobs to start with checklists? Think about the 2 top jobs that you are currently booking all the time, whether that's tankless water heaters, sewer pipe repairs, stoppages, repairing faucets, easy things. Don't overthink it. Just pick 2. And then
Hmm.
once you pick 2, narrow it down to 1. So start there for the plumbing side of it. The office side of it, that's another perspective. I have a checklist for the office team, and a lot of people forget about the office team. And
So
you may say,
do you do like 2 checklists on one job, like one for the field and one for the office?
yes, I do, because I have a gal that what she does is her day to day when she gets up, it's more than just making sure the team has their jobs, but she's also checking every single job for every single team member. And so I have a
Mm-hmm.
checklist for her, easy stuff, nothing complicated to start out with, which is check the jobs, make sure the team has notes, make sure the team collected payment. If they collected payment, was it cash or checks? And if it's cash or checks, make sure that you're following up with your team members to ensure that they are dropping it off at the office. And
Mm-hmm.
then if a customer paid by credit card, let's make sure that the credit card processed and was deposited into our Housecall Pro bank account, 2 or 3 days from now.
Mm-hmm.
Easy stuff for the office, nothing complicated.
That's great. Yeah, I think just dumbing it down in the beginning and keeping it easy, nothing complicated, gets people used to using them. And then
Yes.
from there, you can start to add some more checklists or tasks, that you want them to complete. But don't start with like a 30-point thing, because I see a lot of pros that are like, oh yeah, here's this really cool checklist I built, and it's got like 40
Mhm.
things. And we're like,
Yeah.
okay,
I
well,
mean,
let's
let's be
simplify.
real, right? Like plumbers are men. Okay.
Mhm.
And I'm going to speak from like a male psychology perspective. The feedback I get from my guys is it's too much. It's overwhelming, right?
Mhm.
We already
Mhm.
have to go. We already have to collect payment. We already have to make the repairs. We got to be nice and friendly. And now you want to add this checklist. And you're right. 30-point checklist is way too much.
Mhm.
5 things, 2 things, 3 things. Keep it simple, short, sweet, simple, for them. And that way it doesn't feel so overwhelming for the technicians themselves.
Yeah, I think that's a really great mantra and a good golden nugget for sure. You were mentioning like collecting payment, and earlier we were talking a little bit about like financing. Well, like how is that something that you've incorporated into your business, and why is it important for other businesses to do?
Yes. So in the beginning, when we first started out, one of the challenges we faced was these larger size projects and customers and clients not being able to afford these projects or repairs. And we didn't really have a way to offer them financing. And we're too small of a business in house to
Mhm.
offer financing or tote the note. So when Housecall Pro announced that they were releasing WiseTack as a financial product and service offering, it was like, oh, I was like, okay, this is awesome. Like this is going to make our lives so much more easier. And the integration was awesome because
Mhm.
I didn't really have to like do a lot. Like it just automatically was built into Housecall Pro. So you create the estimate. And then when let's say you bid on a tankless water heater job, that's $10,000. Customers may feel like, wow, $10,000
Yeah.
can't pay for all of that up front, but I really want one. How can I pay for it? Well, guess what?
Mhm.
With that being said, when you send that estimate, it's nice because my customers, they were like, this is so cool. I can see what my approximate payments would be monthly,
Mhm.
$20, $30, whatever it is that they qualify for.
Mhm.
And just the whole process itself, Housecall Pro has done an amazing job of integrating that, making it seamless. The texting, I love it. I have had customers, they're like, I can't find the email. I was like, no problem. On the office side of it, we just go in and we resend it. From the mobile app side of it, the technicians, they're like,
Yeah.
we just go back into the estimate and send it via text. I mean, customer love it. And because of that opportunity that Housecall Pro built for us, that actually has helped us to be able to close
Mm.
sales. Like it increased your closing ratio. It really does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't realize you don't always realize what people can and can't afford. And oftentimes, especially when it comes to plumbing, it's
Mhm.
usually unexpected. And
Yes.
so, when these unexpected expenses come up, if you're judging someone for what they can and can't buy, just giving them the options is always going to improve your closing ratio because, like you said, someone might really want that thing, but they might not have $10,000 that they can cut a check for just sitting in their checking account. That's like a lot of money just sitting around there. So just
Mhm.
having options and allowing your customers to pay the way that they want and that they can afford to, I think is a really big tip just for any company. And I think, there's a
Exactly.
cost of doing business, for using all those features. But I think your closing ratio, your average ticket size, and all the other things just outweigh any extra costs there might be associated with offering these types of more advanced, payment functionality.
Exactly. And then as a small business, it actually reduced the challenges that we face, which is having to go out and outsource a financing company when everything is just
Mhm.
built nicely inside of Housecall Pro.
Yeah. Yeah. Goes back to ease of use and just simplicity and not like
Mhm.
too many things for, the guys out in the field to click on and to do. It's just there and they can tell our customer, yeah, just click on that button and you're good to go.
Exactly. Yeah, I
Yeah.
like that a lot.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to pivot just a little bit here. You've been such an active participant in all of the Housecall Pro communities, our Lady Pro community.
Mhm.
Tell us a little bit more about the Lady Pro community, why you're in there, how you're interacting. You're spending a lot of time with Lily and Iram and, on our monthly meetups that we have there. Just love to hear your thoughts on that.
So, when I first joined the business, I had a desire to connect with other women who were in the trade services like I was. I felt alone. I
Mhm.
felt like there was no one that really could understand some of the challenges of where I was coming from. And so at that time, Housecall Pro had put together like this huge event in Dallas. I don't know if you remember that, Roland.
The
It
Lady
was
Pro
maybe
event.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, like 2019, 2018
Yeah.
or something. You were out there. And so
Hmm.
I went by myself because I was like, I need to step outside of my comfort zone and get uncomfortable and meet more women like me. And
Hmm.
so once I met more women like me, that's how I met Iram. And so with that being said, it was nice to be able to connect with other women. And I saw how empowering it was to be able to join a community like that and to be able to give back to the community as well. So because of Housecall Pro and Lady Pros, I have learned so much. I have received so much support, encouragement, and whatnot, the positivity, because working in a male dominated industry is not easy by any means. So when you have like these women in your cornerstone, it's kind of like a USC fight, right? I don't want
Yeah.
to get knocked out.
Yeah.
so, so I know like I have this great team, just supporting me. It's awesome because those are the challenges I'm facing. But knowing that I have Lady Pros in my corner helps me to be able to maintain that momentum. And so now that is part of why I'm so active in the different
Yeah.
communities. I'm a big believer in giving back.
Yeah, and I think that's really important. Stepping outside of your own comfort zone is really important to continually progress yourself, your own
Mhm.
improvement, your business's improvement. And it's not easy, but if it was easy, everybody'd be doing it. But then again, you're, a lady pro in a male dominated industry. And, you're, like you said, it's nice to have people in your corner, especially, in this kind of world. I feel like also when you see people online and then you meet them in person, it's a really cool experience because you can kind of put like a face to a name, and people will be like, oh my God, I didn't realize Roland was 6'9", or oh my God, I didn't realize Maya was 4'10",
Exactly.
and, it's really fun because, when you meet in person, you can like solidify those relationships a little more, but also it makes it easier too to just interact and give back and offer your advice and your feedback to people that are kind of in your steps, but just like maybe a year or two behind you. And you're like, oh, I remember how I felt back then. Or, I remember when the business was at this stage, or I had that crazy customer call. How did you deal with it? And if you can hear how other people deal with it, especially other lady pros, that helps, kind of inspire you and really give you the confidence that you need. So for people that are listening here, if you're a lady pro or supporting lady pros, come join the community. It's one of Housecall Pro's communities, and it's one of the reasons why we host it too, and hopefully we'll do another in-person event because that was a lot of fun, and that was pre-COVID, so it feels like ages ago. It felt
We're
so
dying for one, Roland. You gotta do what you can, and like everyone's been asking for one. We're so ready to meet and mingle and just be able to just kind of like, I guess you could say, like, just have fun and be able to like meet you in person,
Yeah, definitely. Well, we're definitely past the half-hour mark. I want to give you kind of the floor if there's anything that you feel is like important or that you want to share, or a message you want to put out there for yourself, for the business, for others. Kind of the floor is yours.
Oh, okay. So look, our slogan here at NTX Plumbing is we're all about flow more, do more. That's usually my tagline, but I just want you guys to know, let's flow more and do more for our community as well. So let's keep on giving back.
I love it. Well, Mai, thank you so much for joining us on the Superpro podcast. And I look forward to maybe doing another Lady Pro event in the future and then meeting again. Appreciate you coming on.
All right. Thanks, Roland. I appreciate it.
The Superpro podcast is brought to you by Housecall Pro, the leading platform for the home service industry. Housecall Pro streamlines your workflows and simplifies everything from scheduling and dispatching to communication and billing. Unlock the full potential of your home service business with Housecall Pro. Work smarter and more efficiently with streamlined workflows and detailed analytics. Win more business and serve your customers well, every single time. Join more than 40,000 home service pros who have already revolutionized their businesses. Work smarter with streamlined workflows, get organized with centralized information, and scale your business your way. Learn more at housecallpro.com.